Hello, my name's Michael Murray. I'm one of the co-directors of the Master's Programme in the Department of Adult and Community Education. The programme is one of the oldest programmes we have in the department, and it's gone through a couple of different iterations over the course of years. Effectively, it's a 90 credit full-time Master's that runs for one full year, usually beginning in the third week in September and running right through to May. There are three core modules, each 10 credits each. That would be Advanced Theories of Adult Education, Advanced Gender Studies, and Power Politics and Society. There are three other modules, which I'll talk a little bit about in a second. I'll just name them first and talk about how they fit into the programme. So they would be Ethics, Critical Reflection, and History and Policy of Adult Education. And lastly, there's 30 credits given over to the thesis itself, and really the thesis is the central part of the programme itself. The thesis includes research methods, which runs right through the year, which brings the participants right through the research process in terms of engaging in fieldwork, but also in terms of engaging in various methodologies as well. Well, first of all, the Masters itself encourages innovative and creative work. And what I mean by that is that in terms of what a thesis is and how it is constituted is something that we would think about in quite a creative fashion. In other words, we would facilitate those who come from a very traditional academic background, those who come from a policy-making background, and also people who may, for example, come from, say, for example, an arts-based background. And we try to facilitate creative ways of looking at that traditional thesis in terms of presenting the thesis, but crucially as well, in terms of having that knowledge that is gathered in the thesis move outside of the university and actually make a difference, whether that's a difference to the individual participants in terms of their practice, or a policymaker in terms of making recommendations on particular policy issues. And equally, sometimes arts-based research can be very, very effective in affecting people outside of academia itself. So we would try as much as possible to facilitate different ways of thinking about knowledge and different ways of disseminating knowledge in outside of the university itself. We are constantly shaping and reshaping the Master's programme itself, so it is relevant to continuing changes and trends in adult community and further education. As a consequence of that, we really do take quite seriously the notion of a learner-centered approach, both to participants' own learning, but also having a say in terms of how the Masters is delivered, content. We're open to listening to innovative ideas, and we do take those ideas very, very seriously. Given that the groups that usually come are, as I mentioned, a mixture of practitioners, policymakers, or people with just an academic interest, the group itself will integrate with an international Masters in the second semester. This international Masters is a separate programme. It is run by 5 European universities, and our department is one of the partner universities in that programme itself. And typically people from from around the world, but certainly people from very, very, very different backgrounds. So, for example, we would have people in the current cohort from Azerbaijan, Uganda, Colombia, and they will come into the group in September, and that makes for a very, very, very rich mix of different experiences, different perspectives. And also gives people an opportunity to network with people who they would probably never get an opportunity to have a conversation in relation to adult education outside of the programme itself. There's another cohort that are part of the Masters programme, and that's the Masters in Guidance and Counselling. And that group itself obviously has its own perspective. And we strongly encourage all participants to fully engage in all of the modules, even if they're not being assessed on the modules, as a way of developing that community of practice, our community of learning. And that really makes for a very rich, innovative and creative space for people to learn and hopefully develop as academics and practitioners.